How we doing, bro?
Good, man. It's Friday. No.
There we go.
I gotta hear them boys.
Yeah, man.
I gotta hear them boys and them bars. Long Cut. If you guys haven't heard those guys, good friends of ours. Good friend of ours, JT. Super cool dude. Was in the Marine Corps with him. He's got bars.
Welcome, guys.
I'm so happy he's not rapping, making fun of me anymore.
Yeah, right.
It's so much better when I can hear him be cool and
on
like
the side of it,
not make fun of how stupid I am or
man.
whatever. And dude, I always talk about it. Like when someone's rapping at you, you can't beat them up. You have to rap back.
Or yeah.
I can't rap back, so I have to sit there and like laugh, even though it's not funny. So, but I have to laugh like it's not funny.
If you think about it, being a rapper, man, or being skilled, like no one can do shit. You're right. You can't beat up the guy who's like making funny rapping. He's just rapping about you. It's all good.
It's not all good.
Yeah,
you just got to find creative ways.
Yeah. Welcome, guys, to the Day $1 podcast. We're super excited to be here again. It was last week we had Scott Lefford on, a good friend of ours.
I think it was the week last
2
week
weeks?
or no, it was last week, but it was on like a Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was a couple days prior to that.
Yeah, maybe last Friday. It was a Friday, wasn't it?
It wasn't last Friday. I think it was almost 2 weeks
Jesus
ago.
Christ. Well,
Yep.
we're excited to be back, guys.
Yeah, it's been busy. We got a lot of different growth. I think we should. I'm sure we'll have a podcast talking about some of the relationships that we have going on and some other growth points as far as specifically to how we're growing our business. Super important, and especially the relationships behind it. But something else that you and I have been diving into. Just on our, some of it on our own accord, but then the relationships that we're growing and just wanting to be around. Mm-hmm. Just leveling up.
Yeah.
And not necessarily leveling up like you're being around better people or more successful people, but just people that are being successful in a certain way or from a certain direction that you can benefit from, but they can also benefit from yours. And
well, and it's been kind of just interesting, man. Organically, we've been just getting some other guys in our lives, and it's like you and I just doing our thing, but also being in tune and paying attention to momentum and doing certain things when we have a certain feeling, and not just being head in the dirt so much that we're missing opportunities or people that are coming into our lives. But there has been just some different guys that have been coming around, man, and some different opportunities.
Different. Some of them aren't different to me.
Different from what we have had in the past year or the past year or two. Just new people that are coming into life. Sure. But again, old people from your life too, that are just opening up new experiences for me in particular, but just opportunities, man.
Yeah, and that's kind of the topic of discussion today, and it's not our theme. Diesel Day is something that's put on by Brian Shantosh. Title of today is Diesel Day. However, we did not create that. Sounds super badass. I wish I did.
Right.
But it's Shantosh. We call him Tosh around here. You guys, I'm sure if you've listened to the podcast for 5 minutes before, we've talked about him a lot. But he's got a Diesel Day coming up. He's got a huge. He's had not huge. I don't know if it's huge. It's getting there, I'm sure, but I can't speak to it. But a super important nonprofit that we can like put some links in and all that stuff. But the Big Fish Foundation, what he's doing for veterans and awareness, and he's really trying to dive in and get people to understand how some of that feels. And he had a really cool write up. And when they launched the Big Fish Foundation, they did a last man standing competition. So it was every hour on the hour, you're doing something physical. So it was like a 2 or 3 mile. 2.5 or 3 mile trail, or it was the True Form Runner, or other stuff that they had, body weight bench press and some of the stuff that they had going on. And it was every hour you had to be starting. So if you got done with your run in 30 minutes, then you've got 30 minutes to eat or change your socks or grab some water, take a nap for 20 minutes, whatever you got. But it was every hour on the hour starting. And some of these guys are going 44, 68, 71, or 77 hours, something crazy.
Nuts.
Extremely inspiring. And for me, it kind of hit home because I just haven't been in a place where I've challenged myself physically or mentally to that level in a long time, and I kind of come from that background. And full disclosure, like I've never done a bad water. I've never done a 70-hour, physical and mental challenge like that, unless it was related to the Marine Corps and it was or government work where it was just the nature of the beast. You're just out, but you're not necessarily doing everything physical, but you might be up for a long time and paying attention, and you're hiking somewhere or you're making a movement somewhere. It's different though. It's just different. Even in training, when you're up for days, it's just different. This and putting it upon yourself, and we're going to get into it. It's really cool. But the synopsis of where all this came from was, obviously with the guys that we're training, and that did his last man standing are insane athletes. Insane.
And they were all like ultra marathoners, major CrossFit guys, right?
Yeah, man. They had some CrossFit guys up there. They had an ultra, don't call them marathoners. I'm sure it's
ultra runners. That's what it is.
But then he had one of his clients
Yeah.
who seems like a businessman. I follow him on Instagram. He follows me. I think his name's Mike Long.
Okay.
I don't know what he does professionally. I think he's a businessman or whatever, but I think he's one of Tosh's friends or clients, and not known for that stuff. But he banged out 44 hours.
Jesus.
And he's in great shape. You know, like I was looking at his Instagram. He just looks like a guy who's really putting in work. And I like that guy. I like that guy because I'm not an ultra runner. I'm not in the Marine Corps anymore. Like, you and I are running a business and we're parents, you know, and that's not we don't do that stuff for a living, but we want to like be a part and feel that and challenge it. And especially for me getting back into it. So what's really cool is, so I was speaking to him one day and a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about bringing out Diesel Day, but then making it any fitness level at any capacity. And we're going to do a 24 hours endurance, you know, and we don't know all the information about the challenge yet. We don't know if it's every hour in the hour. We don't know if it's just, we don't really know. And I'm sure that's on purpose, you know, but the synopsis of this thing is it's a continuous effort of your max effort for 24 hours. I'm super excited.
Well,
you feel
first of all, Will called me about this. So
here we go.
I haven't run more than 3 miles ever in my life, right? And no way in hell would I ever sign up for a marathon or even a 5K. And I was a personal trainer forever, so of course I've approached with them a lot. And every time I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't do that, right?
Right.
And you would hit me up and you're like, hey, you know about this event, and then you tell me you're going to volunteer at it. I'm like, cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. That's very
When
kind
I was
of you.
on the phone, so full disclosure, like I was on the phone with Tosh when we were talking, and he was kind of just leaking some of it, and I was like, yeah, man, and not an excuse, and not an excuse, but I've been dealing with like a sciatica issue for a little while, and I don't know, probably for about the last month and a half or so, and it was real bad when I first did that, when I was doing squats and I pulled that piriformis or whatever you call it, you know, the nerve pain in the back into the glute, down the leg, and like my foot was numb. Right. And you remember that. You were the one helping me learn how to like roll out and different stuff. I'm going to get to why this is a good thing, actually. Still have it. Heel's a little numb partially, but it's getting a lot better. And it really forced me to start learning more about stretching and just my body. And you know, like I'm a bigger guy. I'm 250 pounds, and I could bench press a house or whatever. And I did enjoy bodybuilding and just getting big and strong and lifting heavy stuff. And I liked that stuff when I was in the Marine Corps. We just never had an opportunity because we were deploying so much. And then if you're not deployed, you're in the field. And, you know, like the life of an infantryman is not a Mr. Olympia.
Yeah,
we'll put it to you that way. Right. And by the way, that shouldn't be your life.
Yeah.
You've got a different purpose then, you know? And then as a cop, you know, it's still better to be functional. So I've always been into it and trained like it, but I'd never really had an opportunity. And then when I was working with a fitness company, I was able to kind of, you know, dirty bulk. I was eating some junk food and just having fun, getting bigger and cool. But then as I started to want to like lean out, COVID happened. I'm like, cool. I'd already been thinking about body weight movements, functional, and just getting back into some endurance stuff. And because I kind of missed that runner's high, and believe it or not, as big as I am now, I used to be more of a runner and a lot more of like I was doing CrossFit and 08 before I'd even hit Colorado, I think. You know, it was big. One, because of Tosh and the Marine Corps and him being an advocate for that stuff. So I was always more around that. Get away from it for a long time. I kind of get the itch around COVID to do it again. Gyms are closed. Hey, what a great time to start some body weight and just some functional movements in your basement or your garage. Take that momentum, and we're like, what, a month into it? And then boom. And I pinched that I pinched that sciatica nerve. First time I'd ever done it. Nightmare. It's not fun. But it forced me to learn about my body again. It forced me to educate myself on foam rolling, and then also developing your glutes better and just not over triggering your quads when you're doing certain movements. And so even though it sucked, it was good for me. And now I'm kind of like out of the woods, but I'm still kind of like working through it. But long story short, I was talking to Tosh about that stuff, and yeah, man, like I know you got some things going on. Like I'm kind of battling this, but hey, I also know, like, you know, I feel blessed to even be a part of the time I do get from you a couple times a year. When you have an event, I feel like I should just step aside and let other people indulge. Because I get time with him. hey, don't also take events, let other people get involved. And I was like, yeah, maybe I come up and, you know, and volunteer. And he's like, yeah, cool, man. And yeah, we'll get Eli's punk ass up here and let him do it. I was like, yeah, man, cool. You know, like maybe we could do that. And so that's when I ended up telling you about it. And you were like, what? Me? Well, oh, no, bro.
First of all, the relief that I felt because you had told me, hey, this, like the text said something about like, hey, 24-hour fitness event with Tosh. And I was like, oh, fuck, like what do I got to do? Like what is it going to be? Dude, I can't tell you the relief I felt when I picked up the phone and you told me you were just volunteering at it. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, cool, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank God you want me to do this.
Yeah.
And then you said that thing about Eli's punk ass doing it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You know, not going to happen. So I thought I was off the hook, man. I really did. But.
Yeah, no. Well, and here's you know, so you were like, what? No, not like I can't, but just like that's so crazy.
Yeah. Fuck.
And so as a good friend and a great broker, right? I just bring people together. I may have leaked what you said to Tosh, and he's like, well, that's unfortunate. He's just not the guy I thought he was, and he's limiting himself. And I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to read that to Eli. And I'm sure Tosh is like fucking laughing about that kind of stuff because he knows, dude. He knows I got a big mouth, and I'm not about drama, but when it's all in good fun or challenging each other, I love it. Now, full disclosure, because you did see the text messages, I had already told him, I was like, hey, maybe if I do it with him, it'll help him. And so obviously I volunteered to like, now I'm going to be in the competition. And I remember sending him that email, and I was like, hey, Eli and I are both in, and I felt good because I know Tosh, man, he's the kind of guy like, hey, if you want to go after something, do it. Don't worry about taking time from someone else or this or that. Hey, I'm throwing something out there. If something's for you, dive in. This is what it's here for.
And just so people know too, he's only having 10 people do this event.
Correct.
So it's not like this is, you know, the fucking Boston Marathon and, you know, we're trying to like just, let's just volunteer at it, right?
So I was genuinely being considerate, like, man, I would love to, but would be better to just volunteer knowing that like, man, I've served with Tosh. I've kind of been around that stuff. I still get some time with him when he has it, and should I let somebody else have that? But then I also know he would tell you like, man, if you think this is for you and you're going to benefit from it, pull the trigger. Don't worry about that stuff and just pull the trigger. And you sent that email back. He's like, fuck yeah, boys, you're in. And then we were like, fuck yeah, or okay, you know, but something that's super that I like about this is I've already been, you know, like trimming down, you know, like my physique is leaner. I'm more mobile. I'm still dealing with like that sciatica. It's getting a lot better. But as I'm getting better with that, I've got a little bit of back pain on the other side from the compensation from it. And I'm really having to use that percussion gun diligently. I'm having to foam roll. I'm having to watch my diet a little bit better and just pay attention to getting, you know, so sometimes it's like you feel worse, but it's because you're getting better. And you're like, I promise you, your IT bands on a foam roller, it does not feel better, but you're getting better and you're learning how to just recover and just take care of your body. And, you know, when I watched him do his last man standing, it's just been a long time since I had gone off that far and just talked to myself or all 12 of me's on the side of some mountain, asking myself what the fuck I'm doing. And then like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Who are you? And I'm super excited for this 24 hours because, well, and excited as in, not like, oh, yay, you're going on a roller coaster. Excited as in, man, it's going to suck and it's going to expose you. And that's the vulnerability to this, but that's also what's really great about it. If you've got enough in you to just go hack it, is I feel like this is an exposure of where I'm at physically and mentally, separately, but also like conjoined together because he's using fitness movements as the vehicle to go question yourself mentally and kind of see where you're at. And I also understand that, you know, like it's going to be ugly for everyone. But that's also like a great starting point of just, here's a real hard task and a real honest evaluation of where you're at physically and mentally. And that's also going to be a great launching pad for me to continue education and effort and endurement into my new goals with fitness and everything. And the people that are going, we have no idea who they are. He hasn't group messaged us. He hasn't told us about the guest speakers. We don't know the other people that are participating. But what's really cool, man, is we've all got something in common. We're all going up there with probably a similar mission of just wanting to figure some things out about ourselves. But being in the company where everyone is like vulnerable and exposed, and it's okay, if that makes sense.
Well, dude, I've never been tested like that before physically, you know. So for me, that was like when that morning when you had called me and you told me what Tosh had said, and I actually started considering it for the first time, I hit up Megan, my wife, and, just, hey, I need your advice. What are your thoughts on this? And she instantly, man, she was like, I 100% think you should do it. She's like, I know, you're always looking for a chance to test yourself, and a chance like this, you hardly get ever, right, in a lifetime, especially from the people that we're going to be around when we're doing it. Of course, you can go and find races and hard shit to do, but for me, again, it's the people that I'm around, that I'm doing it with.
Yeah.
If the people aren't right for me, then the events, I might as well do it by myself, right? I'd rather go on the fucking mountains by myself for 5 days than be around people I don't want to be around.
They've got guest speakers. They've obviously Tosh, which is more than enough. They've got first aid. They've got people that have done these type of challenges before. They're what you call a subject matter expert in those, and they're there to help and assist and motivate, lecture, torture, keep you company, whatever you need. Like they're all for it. But it's great because I'm people are going to be around you that do that stuff, and it's all there to support that cause of everybody. Just, some people call it tackling your demons or going to a dark place. And that might be, maybe it's not for some, but just going to a place of vulnerability and combined with some effort.
Yep.
And some camaraderie of just knowing other people are enduring and going through these conversations and going through other stuff with themselves simultaneously as you doing it. I think it's great, man. And something that, and the whole reason why we're talking about this is obviously not to just talk about it, but it's something that's big for me. I know it's big for you, and I know a lot of people talk about these things, but it's hard to find something to stick to. But with this, when we talk about goals, right, I definitely love growth outside of business. For me, like who I am as a person bleeds into everything I do, bleeds into fatherhood, bleeds into marriage, bleeds into business. So for me, self-growth is kind of like more my cup of tea. There is business growth. Don't get me wrong. We had a great Zoom call today with a gentleman who's helping us in mentoring with business and some directional stuff. But I still feel like if I'm not the best version of myself or constantly working on that, then whatever I am doing in business or as a father, I'm not going to be the best version of myself here, which means it's hindered in some manner.
Oh,
I've always got to work on me. But it's hard when, like, for example, losing weight. I've been thinking in my own head, even prior to COVID, about like just getting back into some endurance stuff and some different things. And you got to lose weight, be more functional, grow your conditioning, grow your capacity for what you can handle. But what's holding you like accountable, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna lose 40 pounds in 90 days. Okay. And you can post it on Facebook. Nobody's gonna remember to go back 90 days from now and check on it. Maybe a couple neurotic friends. But if you don't hit it, is anybody calling you out, and are you calling yourself out? And if you call yourself out, like, are you really feeling that? Right. So for me, this was big because it's like, hey, 15 days from now, come August 1st, this is happening. We only had, I think, maybe 30 days when this was posted, if that, when we found out about it. You already know, like, man, you're not going to be an ultra runner going into this. Not that you have to be, right? It's any fitness level, any capacity. It's more about just your continuous max effort and just enduring, the challenges ahead. But this thing is going to happen no matter whether I'm there or not. It's going down. The people that are there, the person I said I was showing up for, man, that means a lot to me.
It does, yeah.
Right? So that's step one, is like every day becomes accountable now. Like I'm literally counting the days, not because I'm nervous, but I'm counting workouts. I'm counting, making sure I'm stretching certain ways every day, using a foam roller every other day, obviously pain tolerance. Like don't do something where you're just damaging yourself, but just, again, learning your body. And I know Diesel Day is going to be a start for me, not a finish. Does that make sense?
Same, yeah.
But it's almost like I'm already in it because I'm already more diligent. I'm already paying attention more. Every day is already more accountable to what I'm doing because that day is coming up. And then once that day comes up and you expose where you're at, now it's on you to continue. But when you're there going through it and you're having those conversations with yourself, it's not about Tosh. It's not just about the people that are there. Like, it's about you and how you feel about yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, you're gonna have some things to digest in those moments, and you're gonna have a lot of like takeaways to improve upon. You'll probably have some things that you're proud of. You're definitely gonna have some things that you want to improve on, but I'm so excited for that starting point. It's been a long time since I've just exposed myself, not just to others and what a leader might think of me, but just expose myself on that level to me and what that can do for you. But big things like that is like just not narrowing your mind to thinking that you can't endure 24 hours.
Right.
And then also finding something that's respectable and important enough where you want to show up and you already know, man, it's going to be ugly, but you want to show up in the best version of yourself that you can. And you want to make sure that with integrity, you're giving it all you can for the guy that's running it, but for yourself.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I guarantee he'll tell you, don't do it for me. Fuck me.
Yep.
Do it for yourself. Like, you've got some things to answer about you on this mountain, right? We're doing it in the mountains of Boulder. But I really enjoy that. And it's very rare that something can come around and hold you that accountable while also just exciting you about the unknown and the extreme level of a challenge, of an endurance.
Well, I like that extreme stuff, man, because I mean, I think you just need extreme shit to have any like lasting impact. Like, this is a funny example, but you'll know what I'm talking about. Every time I take apple cider vinegar, man.
Oh,
exactly.
But it's a shot. It's not 24 hours of it.
It's a shot. 24 hours. It's not a 6-month, prep for a bodybuilding competition. It's 24 hours getting your fucking ass beat.
Yeah.
But with that shot, it's like, man, I'm like, I know that this does a lot of shit. I
don't take
it. I'm like, this has got to do something. Like, this is so extreme. No way can I shoot this every day, and have it not affect my body somehow.
And if you water it down with juice, it feels like it's dissolved in something else and it's not working.
No, it's just more of that. So I'm excited for that aspect. I'm also excited for the psychological psychedelic effect, man. Like, you're not busting ass for 24 hours and pushing yourself to these extreme levels and not having some sort of experience. Yeah, I was trying to think of the right word. It's not epiphany, it's not breakthrough, experience. And what that's going to be like, even just from experience in bench pressing or squatting or something. When you're going under that like max set, I always call it forced meditation.
Okay.
To where it's like you're not sitting down and closing your eyes and doing all this stuff. You're doing this such a challenging thing. If you're not in the moment, you're going to fucking squash yourself. You're going to be stuck under that bar. You're going to blow out your back squatting, whatever. Yeah. You're forced to truly be in the moment and be focused on your breath, focused on the movement, focused on the one thing of getting that bar up off your chest.
Yeah.
With something like this, man, I think it's going to be something similar to where it's like you're not thinking about your bills. When you're hour 18, man, and it's 3 a.m. or whatever, and you're hiking through the woods, you're not thinking about your bills. You're not thinking about your credit score. You're not thinking about your car payment coming up. That bullshit that just clogs our mind on a daily basis, that stuff is going to be gone 100%.
True. And like, I've done enough, like, throughout the Marine Corps and just the endurance we had there physically, the challenges of just the, and it's not even just the leadership we had in front of us, you definitely, like, I've definitely caught in that second wind before. We've done our 9-mile boots and utes runs, and some runs went even further. We had a staff sergeant, Arias, who, he just loved, motherfucker. He just loved to run.
Yeah.
Loved, little El Salvadorian dude.
Yeah.
We'd go 9, 12, however many miles. And, but I have gotten to a place where, like, I've done some of the endurance stuff to where, like, you catch that second wind, and you feel like you could just go all day and just kind of like where your thoughts are at. And I'm sure it's going to be that mixed with some other stuff, but that's what makes it so appealing, man, is that unknown piece of, like, what you are going to go through, and the highs and the lows, and just working through that mentally and a lot of that stuff. And again, man, just the people, we have no idea who's going to be competing, or not anything competing, who's going to be sharing this. And I want to be careful with my words, because I don't want to make this something it's not, because it's not mine, right? It's not my idea. It's not my venue. So I want to be very careful, like, with my words, not competing, sharing, right? Like, these other people that are coming to share that same experience, that are competing against themselves and whatever they're doing. We have no idea who they are, but just the type of person that wants to come to that, super excited. The people that are around it, super excited. And it's fun to be around people where, you're not just donating money, or you're not just hanging out on the weekend, or you're not just coming when it's convenient. Like, there's something about camaraderie when you go put your sweat equity and your effort and your belief in their leadership and in their way of exposing leadership and stuff like this, you know, there's something to be said about people that will just put out with you. Super excited for that. And man, that stuff does correlate to business. And we're going to go off in August and do some shooting. And we've got some folks to meet with Spartan 7. Super exclusive little shooting endeavor that we get to go do about a week after that. And some of those guys are going to be there that we're speaking of. And it's just really exciting to be around guys that are probably just better at you than at everything. Right? Yep. Just about, or maybe they're not, maybe you're better at them, but they're just as excited to learn from you as you are from them. And just no judgment, just the understanding that everybody's going to do their best, right? Almost like a gentleman's rule. Like we're not here to yell and scream, and this isn't boot camp. Yep. This is about the integrity behind everybody just being here, giving their max effort, but all of us doing it together at whatever pace that may be. Yeah. But then just getting around other guys that do that in their life and that sweat with one another, man. I'm so attracted to the camaraderie side because I've seen the benefits of building a cohesive unit. I've seen the benefits of what that does in the infantry community. I've seen what it did for us as instructors. When I was an instructor in the Marine Corps, I'm really attracted. It's been such a long time. So one, it's so beneficial to, you know, to get around a guy like Tosh and some old Marines and or some SEALs and share that stuff with guys who've had it. But what's really cool is you're invited to all that stuff too. And what's really cool is these guys they have such a great handle, or they're getting such a great handle on how does everything we experience over here apply to over here. And just allowing other people to have the opportunity to expose themselves to those challenges, but then also share that with people and kind of feel that side of camaraderie, and just you and I going up there together. I know I was busting your balls and trying to talk you into it, but in the back of my mind, you know, it'd be no way, you know, even if I only last an hour, 2 hours, that'd be terrible. Don't get me wrong, but I would much rather go sweat it out and fucking bleed on the side of that mountain with you than hand you a glass of water as you're going through it on your own when we haven't done something like that together as a team. And that's just not good leadership / partnership. I love the camaraderie that you and I get to go up there, and we're going up there as individuals to kind of challenge ourselves. Yet we're going to have even though we're there for ourselves per se, it's an experience we all get to share together. And that's what's so unique about this, man. It's literally everybody, and I hope I'm not misspeaking, but everybody's going to be going up there for their reasons and what they want to figure out about themselves. And yet we're all going to be able to sit down and share that. And when you and I come home and we're back to work and doing our thing, we get to share that story. And we could have those laughs of what was 3 a.m. for you? Oh, dude, it was 5 a.m. for me, or whatever, right? And just the silly shit, or you trying to hand me a glass of water and I'm smack it out of your hand or something because I'm just in that mood. And then just the funny shit I remember having with instructors, when JT and I were talking about the division schools, and you and I now get to share some of that and then bring that home. And then, hey, what does that do to our relationship and business and great things?
It's like going and tripping mushrooms with your buddy, bro.
Only it's a lot physically demanding. More physically demanding.
But that's exactly how it is, man. It's this individual experience. No one else is having an experience like you are. No one else is having the thoughts that you are. It's all yours, but at the same time, it's this collective experience. And just being able to share that with some good friends, man, that's something else. And
it'll be fun to get your perspective, because I'm sure you can, you'll be able to speak to some of that. I can't. I can speak to a certain level of physical endurance and just suck amongst guys and what that does as far as growing them. And again, it'll be fun for you and I to be able to share that. It'll be fun for the relationships that may come from this, from the people that we don't know, and just some of the friendships that may grow from that. It'll be fun to help people. Even though you're there for yourself, how are you also helping other people while they're going through, if you're changing your socks and someone needs something, are you, hey, before you head back out, are you grabbing something for someone? Are you helping someone along the way? Because by the way, that also does help you when you're tired and not in a good place, and you can still find a way to help others and make others important. It does do something for you, but it also shows, just that team effort and the camaraderie of everyone kind of doing that all together. And it'll just the stories from that, I know they're going to set us up for a debrief and how to kind of decompress off of some of this stuff. Just really excited for the growth.
Is there anything that you're afraid of coming up? Is there anything in the back of your head specifically that you're scared might happen, or not sure what?
Scared might happen. You got to give me an example. Like a mountain lion eating me?
No, any feelings that you might have, or injuries, or like.
Yeah, like, like my sciatica bothers me. Like, that's not an excuse. Like, I'm showing up and I'm going to do my thing. Yeah. I definitely think it's in a place where, like, it's not going to get injured more. It just might be an irritation. Yeah. But I don't think anyone's ever 100%. I don't know. So I got to take that. For a guy like me that is used to being good at a lot of things, I'm not bragging, so just give me a second here. But I've been good at a lot of things. And when I went to the Marine Corps, I was high shooter out of a lot of different schools, and what I accomplished there was I'm proud of that. Yeah. And where I was at physically, along with my shooting and my proficiency as a leader, I'm proud of that. I'm now in a place where, like, I want to go back to some of that. And it's almost like Mike Tyson, like, going back to boxing right now, but he's just probably has a fear of, like, he's never going to be the boxer he was. He's in his fucking 50s, right? I wonder if he's got some vulnerability there, and you just have to let it go. Like, for me, dude, I got a True Form trainer in my garage, and I'll run for like a minute, and it's a hard treadmill to learn and pace yourself. I have a slight limp because of my heel being a little numb. So, and that treadmill is very in rhythm with you because it's self-propelled. So I kind of battle that. But it's like, man, this isn't who you are. It's just where you're at, and just be better every day. But sometimes your ego wants to get you because you've gone so far with something. It's hard to go back and suck. Like, it's hard for me to, like, run for a couple of minutes and then have to walk because I'm just a heavier dude and I'm not conditioned like that anymore. I decided to condition myself a different way, and now I'm changing that, but I'm going back to a place where, like, I excelled extremely well, and now I'm fucking trash in my right. And but that's probably good because it's like, hey, that's going to force you to, like, let go of your ego. Let go of your fucking, like, I don't want to be the guy that just wears my high school Letterman jacket and talks about the old days and what I used to be.
No one likes that guy, man.
No one probably likes that guy.
Yeah.
Well, right now, like, and I got a chip on my shoulder and ego. I'm confident about certain things, but this is a great lesson for me to, like, hey, you're not going to be able to have your ego right now because, like it or not, you are not that guy endurance-wise that you used to be, and you want to definitely get back to there, and you definitely can. It just takes time, and, dude, the stretching and the rolling out and everything I'm doing now that I never did back when I was young, I feel like I'm taking care. Like, I'm not where I want to be physically or capacity-wise yet.
Yeah.
But I feel like my approach of just how I'm taking care of my body and how I'm learning to do it better, I feel like I'm well on my way. And you just have to remember to be patient and kind of be hard on yourself, but be kind at the same time, and just, hey, be better every day. So for me, not necessarily a fear. It's just everything. It's just whatever image I see myself as or what I used to be. Some of that you just got to let go of, and you just got to go. It's like, man, here's who you are right now, and just let go of this other
and be okay
badass used to be stuff. And not that that's not you anymore. It's still inside you, man. You're still mentally. I'm sure I've got some strength. We've been shooting. I'm still putting holes inside of holes, man. Like, I'm still me, but I just haven't been back here in so long. So it's not like you have to let go of who you were. You just have to not try to, like, carry that identity on your back and then constantly grade yourself about what you were at 24 to where you're at now. And so, yeah, man, just, like, shedding some of that and just taking the good and just a blank canvas of, like, man, just get out there and be better every day, and it's already starting. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of an ego check of just putting that stuff to the side in order to progress and just realize that this this experience that we're going to share with people, it's a great way to just expose and have a very honest check on where you're at physically and mentally.
And probably to reestablish that new version of
what you want it to be,
of what you were back then.
And that's what I mean. Right. Like, that's what I mean is, like, after this, I feel like this is going to expose you. And you have some takeaways that you're proud of. You have some takeaways that are not easy to swallow, maybe, but but they're honest. But it's not over. This is not the culminating event. This is an experience that exposes that, but could also be treated as a starting line of, like, a cool, here's where I'm at, and then it starts giving you some direction on what do you want to work on. You know what I mean? And I'm excited about that because I definitely, like, man, I already feel like I'm, regardless of the sciatica bullshit, I already feel like I'm just paying more attention to my mind and my body and the effort I put in every day with the workouts. And, like, I'm working out hard, but I'm being smart about it. that stuff I didn't used to do, man.
Mm-hmm.
I never did. Like I did lifting weights, but that's heavy and it just seemed different. I was always careful with it. But like when we go on like swim runs and different stuff, I wasn't like stretching out. And like, I remember we were learning CrossFit and CrossFit Endurance when Tosh had these dudes come up to division schools and it was dope, you know, and I ended up, you know, like once I got out of the Marine Corps, you know, like I didn't really get back into I got back into like, I got to get a job. I got to build a life. And I just kind of got back into just traditional lifting and it just kind of stayed there. But I'm already smarter with my approach of like working out hard as possible while being safe about it and actually training your body to be stronger, not just going out there and doing something crazy and blowing your fucking back out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can't have the whole good initiative, bad judgment with your body. You have to kind of be dialed. And what you can do is what you can do. And hey, if what you did today, you just want to be better, but like you just didn't have that capacity in you today, that's okay. But if you're doing everything that day possible, tomorrow it's going to be a little better and a little better and a little better. And then at some point you will be impressed and you will be happy with where you're starting to go. But dude, it's just like, and this is why it's so much fun, because just like in business or in a relationship, the ups and downs you have there, like it's all a process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, this is not fun for me right now, losing weight and running. But I know at some point, man, the fruits of my labor and where I am and where I do want to be with it, I'll be proud of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm a little concerned about, like, cause I'm kind of the opposite to where I'm bad at everything I do until I get good at it. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until, I was probably like, I tried wrestling as a kid. I tried football as a kid, flag football, mind you, and just terrible at everything. I sucked at gym class. I hated gym class, dude. I was always like the last one picked for kickball. It was like me and the Down syndrome kid. And then, of course, I picked the Down syndrome kid because
don't put him on your level. A lot of Down syndrome kids got like good arms and shit. They're like hyper focused.
I know.
I probably would have picked him over you.
They did.
If I saw your flat feet, I'd be like, nah.
Everyone did, bro.
Guy. I don't want a platypus over there.
And platypus. Yeah. And sorry, nothing against Down syndrome. Don't take that the wrong way, guys. But I'm just telling you what my experience in gym class was. It was me and that kid left. And so just physically, man, things were not easy, and I'm just not naturally athletic. But it wasn't until like playing the drums where I just liked doing it. So I didn't stop doing it. And I eventually got good at
coordination
it. And then I'm like, and that's when I kind of learned, oh, hey, if you just do something long enough and keep doing it enough, you will get better at it.
Right.
Before that, I just thought if you're bad at something, you're bad at something. Right. And I don't know where that came from or why my parents didn't talk to me about anything. They just didn't want to force things on me.
They probably thought you were just bad.
bad.
I'm kidding. But your parents are awesome.
But what that's done, it's done a lot of good, because that just lets me know, hey, if you fail in the beginning, all good. Just keep learning, keep studying, keep trying things, and you get better at it. Keep applying. Yeah. And it has. But also, what I think that can also make me do is maybe be too patient sometimes, be not as competitive with myself as I should be, give myself a little too much leeway as far as like, oh, hey, you'll get better over time, and that's why I wanted to start doing jiu-jitsu, because I did want to start nurturing my competitive spirit a little bit. But what I'm afraid is going to happen, which I'm just trying to be aware of, and I could probably go into this with as many intentions as I want, and then I'm going to get punched in the fucking face, and those are all going to go out the window. so I just take it for what it is. But I'm just concerned of like selling myself too short, like let's say I get to hour 13 or something and I'm fucking hurting everywhere, and it's just like this whole like, oh, hey man, you've never done anything like this before, and it's
great
okay
job.
And I'm not injured or anything, I'm just in pain and I could keep going.
Yeah.
But I'm telling myself in my head, not even good job, but just like, well, hey, you'll get better. Hey, you can do another one next year. Hey, you can, just.
That's what's so cool about the guys that are going to, and we don't know every volunteer, we don't know the guest speakers, but we know Tosh is going to be there. And on the email, he talked about whether you need support, motivation, harassment, right? Like whatever you put in there,
right.
You're going to have guys that have been in this environment before. They understand injury versus pain. Like there's a difference between being hurt and being injured, right? And they are also going to understand the phases that you're going through, catching your second wind, having a mental block, being tired, being painful, being, the soreness, or, oh, I just need a nap. And it's like, nope, no, you don't. Here's what, you're going to have guys that are vetted, that are probably up there helping guide you through some of the thought product. They're not going to do it for you, but if you're getting to that point, I bet somebody's talking you through that.
Yep.
To the point where they might even jog or walk the trail with you.
Right.
Hey, let's do a lap together.
Yep.
Hey, you're done? Okay, get it. Hey, you're in a lot of pain. Hey, let's do one together and just see what happens with all of it. And let's see where you're at. And then the guy ends up going on a 3 mile with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's that kind of stuff. And that's why this experience is just so unique, because of everything that you have around you and the resources that are available to, again, not do the work for you, but try to like help guide you and give you direction and give you certain thoughts when you're in a certain place. So like your mind's mind, as Tosh would say, like isn't fucking with you or playing tricks on you and wanting you to do stuff that you shouldn't. You've got somebody intervening with some education and some knowledge to maybe help some of that.
It's like a shaman. It's like the ayahuasca ritual shaman.
Only it's a lot more
guiding you through. Yeah,
I know what you're thinking. Why don't we just do mushrooms or ayahuasca? I know you want to go up there and be like, Tosh, hey, they got this tea where we could all just sit around this fire and go to the moon.
Yeah.
Why do we have to walk to the moon?
That's
right?
So funny,
Like, dude, I know you want to say that to him.
Oh my God.
And I'm gonna be diming you out on when I'm all mad. And
I'm like,
Eli does drugs.
I'm like, you're trying to walk to the moon. I got an Uber. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, man.
Shit.
That experience is gonna be something, and I hope everybody kind of strives for that kind of stuff, and I also feel like just the environment you're around where you just want to do better, and the people you're around, you just want to push hard, but at the same time, they don't expect you to be perfect. There's going to be some expectations where people understand where some folks are at, and it just provides this environment for you to have any of those inhibitions just kind of go away, except for the ones that you kind of have with yourself. But as much as you are fearful or have some things there, you're also in an environment that's safe to go find out. And that's like the cool dichotomy with all of this is, you're going to have that fear of limiting yourself or an injury or pain or sciatica, whatever the fuck, right? But there's no judgment. And as much as you're like, you've got some things here with yourself that you want, it's also like, but the environment you're in, you're not getting ridiculed. You're in an environment where you're excited to go answer those questions. And it's just such a unique opportunity.
It is, man. It is. When is this?
August 1st.
Yeah.
We go up there the day before, and it's really cool, man. We go up the day before, and we're gonna have some dinner with everyone, and Tosh has a mission statement / speech / ideology he wants to speak to with everyone. It's called Checking In with the Left Hand. It sounds like he might have some guest speakers up there. I think he also said he might have some hyper athletes up there to just help us, motivate us to be better. So probably people up there kicking our ass. Great. And then you sleep that night. The next morning you wake up, we're going to have some breakfast and share some more goal setting and some thought process into it. I'm sure there's going to be some warming up and some stretching, and then boom, it's going to get started. And then it goes for 24 hours. And after that 24 hours, I'm sure guys are going to have some recovery and some resting. And then we're going to have a big cookout that they're doing for everyone. And that's where during that cookout, I'm sure everyone's sharing stories or talking. But what's really cool is they're also going to talk to us about just the digestion of everything that happened and give you some thoughts on how to actually like process everything that you went through in order to like move forward. And there's just a lot of it. The biggest thing is for, I guess the sound of it for me is just, there's a lot of education behind it and really expanding your mind,
processing,
using your body's physical as like a vehicle, as he would say, right? But then just expanding your mind on just more, but then feeling it, not just talking about like we are now, but actually going and feeling more, and then how to process all of that in order to take and then move forward with that.
Well, dude, I'm super excited for it, man. It's been something that's been in the back of my mind for a really long time, as far as the endurance aspect of, all right, bitch, what do you fucking got? What are you afraid of? Like, why does running a 5K scare you? I'm excited to find out what that is. But again, like you and I, we talk about our work, like we work out separately, believe it or not. That's like the one thing, always do on our own, but like we're sharing different tips and talks, and you're like talking to me about this shoe that's good for trail running. It's more for like level footed and I'm sharing stuff with you, and I'm talking about the different stretches and what I'm doing in the morning. And I feel like we're just already more dialed, and we've got more direction and more, just
initiative and purpose and direction and whatever word you want to throw on top of that as far as like attacking the day physically and mentally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But again, I really feel like that growth bleeds into fatherhood, bleeds into business partnership, especially because you and I get to go share that together individually, but together. And maybe there's some team stuff there as well. We don't know, but maybe you're doing stuff as a team there. Either way, you're going to want to treat people like they're a teammate. And if you can help someone, you know, in the midst of what you're doing, then you should help someone, right? And there's some pieces to that, but it just bleeds into everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited for that. But
likewise.
Yeah, man, we're probably going to be a little wrecked. Don't expect a podcast on that Monday. Because August 1st is a Saturday, and then it goes into Sunday morning.
Unless, bro, we're so transformed that we just wake up Monday ready to roll.
I might be laying on this fucking table.
That's all right, dude. That's all right.
You never. Yeah, I know. We might be so numb to the pain that it doesn't hit until like Wednesday. Who knows? But maybe we do have it. If we do have a podcast on Monday, I probably won't be talking about it. I think as much as I love talking and I'm excited, I also, you know, something that I think this is going to be good for me is giving time to process, you know, and even like when I do talk to Tosh, everyone's like, you know, I tend to be spot on with a good amount of stuff, but if I really want to expand my mind, there's been some topics that he's talked about. There's been some things elsewhere where, hey, sit on that. Yeah. Even though what you have to say right now, it's not that it's not relevant or a good point, but sit on it. I think this is, you know, being up there, I'm just going to be able to talk to myself and have my own thoughts. And yeah, you're interacting with people, but you're tired and you get it. But then just taking their guidance on how they feel we should process this at all moving forward. And I probably won't talk about it that Monday, or who knows, maybe it'll be a week. Maybe I'll be writing notes on the thoughts that I'm having throughout a week. And maybe it's a couple weeks before I talk about it. But what I do know is when I sit on some things and I just apply some patience to certain aspects of life or certain topics or things that happen, there is growth there for me. But being in sales and other stuff, like I think I've just gotten in this groove of just interacting with people, and I'm just, man, I'm happy-go-lucky and I'm talking and it's fun and I'm very good, you know,
off the cuff,
like Eminem, like a freestyle rapper. Me just interacting with people, man, like that's kind of my groove. However, that shouldn't be your only tool. There is times where you should be quiet and just process, and if you want to write thoughts out, to just get them out, you know, and then be able to go back to them or whatever. Hey, cool. But then sharpen some of those tools. And I think I've kind of gotten in this habit of just being in that groove. And there's been some times this past year where I wasn't necessarily wrong, but I didn't go as deep as I could have with some thought processes. And it took me a couple weeks to get there, and that exposed it. And I think this is going to definitely help give that to myself, not only answering what I want to personally, but just other stuff, man. Just knowing when to, you know, enjoy that groove and be in that groove, but then also knowing when you need to give things time and process and look at it from as many perspectives as possible before you develop an opinion or develop something that you'd like to say. And I think I'm going to be able to take some of that from
I like it. I like you.
Well,
thanks for listening, guys.
See how I was just so in the groove?
We appreciate you guys listening. We are going to be back. Let's see. It's Friday.
We'll be back next week. We will have some content from this. So Eli and I are going to bring up the GoPros, and we're going to be talking to ourselves in the camera or putting it on our head and just using it and documenting as much as that's allowed. And obviously documenting some of that while not taking away from the experience. I think we got to be respectful to that, but we should have some good content around that to get you guys some eyes on and just a good feel for what this was all about and what it looked like. Yeah,
100%. So Day One $0, guys, as always, check us out on YouTube, check us out on Facebook. We live stream our videos there. If you're watching our video, definitely head over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, all those places where you can check out our audio version if you're at the gym or if you're on a run or anything like that. And as always, reviews if you like us.
Like it if you like it.
Leave us a review. It really does help, guys. We appreciate you.
Happy Friday, guys.
All right, guys. We will see you
next week.
Treated all the same, but exemptions I need. Spit